Today, we are going to be converting BookMasher chapters into podcasts. And I can't remember who it was. It's either Garen or Scott asked me a week ago. He said, you mentioned we could do this, and nobody ever did any training. I'm like, oh, I forgot that. So what I wanted to do is kind of spend the Geek Out Friday session on this conversion process and going over to AIMasher. But there's a lot more you can do with your books. And I'm going to show you, and if you'll stay to the end, because it's Geek Out Friday and you're on the Mastermind Club on the live call, I'm going to show you some different techniques and different audio creation methods that you can use to create audio podcasts. And then I'm going to go a little bit into the hosting part and the video casting part to kind of give you a little primer on how to set up your podcast maker. Okay, so with that said, we're going to start it. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, this is a Geek Out Friday session replay, and you're not going to get the full show. If you want the full show, you have to join the geekoutfridays.com. Okay, so I'm gonna, with all the business part done, let's have some fun here. And let's see. Well, okay, let's do present. There we go. Go full screen, and we're ready to go. Okay, we're going to convert BookMasher chapters into audio podcasts, and we're going to do this by creating scripts that we can do text to speech. And the trick to it is AIMasher can do text to speech, ElevenLabs can do it. There's several of them out there that do a really decent job of text to speech, and we're going to kind of explore some of them today. So what is BookMasher? Well, if you're on the call, hopefully you know about it or you've seen it or heard about it. BookMasher is basically a tool to create books using AI. We have 7 writing modules in there now, and there should be about 10 writing modules hopefully before the end of the year. And they include like travel guides, gardening guides, DIY books. We've got crossword puzzles and all types of really neat writing modules. We picked the writing modules that have the most engagement on Amazon in nonfiction. So that's how we've come up with our different writing modules. So it's very easy to use. We create pictures. You basically start with your topic, and from the topic, we're going to make we're going to give you a title, we're going to give you an outline, and we're going to write the book for you. Pretty easy. We'll even illustrate it for you. So you don't really have to do a lot of work. Now, we tell everybody this is first draft. We want you to download it as a docx or a PDF or however you're going to edit it, and put an eyeball on it. Do a little editing if you want. If it's crossword puzzles or these puzzle games, you don't even have to worry about that. Just go straight into Amazon KDP. We've got training on how to do that on other Geek Out Friday sessions. And so let's move on. So what you're going to do is on BookMasher, we're going to we have content in the book. So if you want to take a chapter or a section of a chapter, those read very well. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to do that. There's some certain things that you may want to pay attention to as far as what's on the read before you turn it into a voiceover, or what's on the script before you make it a voiceover. And I'll show you those too. So you choose your sections, and then you can export it. The easiest way is there's a button on there that sends it to AIMasher. If you got AIMasher, you just click the button, and it will send all the articles that you checked into AIMasher, where you can do automated voiceovers. Okay. The other is preview the book. Just copy the sections, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I even have a special prompt that I have been using on chat to turn it into like a first-person podcast. So it takes your book and rewrites those sections and makes it more of an expert talking about a subject matter. Okay. You can also export the entire book to a docx, pull the sections that you want, and post them, put them in a text-to-speech audio creator. Okay. You can use AIMasher. AIMasher, with the integration with ElevenLabs, it does really well if you got less than 1,000 words in the section. If you have more than 1,000 words, you might want to go directly into ElevenLabs or something like that to create your text-to-speech. There are more of them out there than ElevenLabs. I like ElevenLabs because you can do your own voice customized in there. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The other thing is you can save it as an HTML file where you can copy the sections, again, to text-to-speech. We added something new also in AIMasher so that you can select all the audios and just download them all at one time, or create an XML file that can be read by the podcast studios. Okay, we're going to deep dive into that. And I'm not AI, but I use the word dive. So I guess that's okay. Let's see. Let's keep on going here. Okay, method one is the AIMasher to full articles. So once you push it over to AIMasher, you can run a template on a group of articles, or you can go into each individual article, edit it, and then run the voiceover full script. And I'll show you both ways on how to do it. Okay. Method two, copy and paste. This is if you have a little bit longer article, whether you pull it from BookMasher or wherever you want, you might want to just copy and paste it directly into ElevenLabs. And there's some little quirks on ElevenLabs, and we're going to go over that too. The other method, and I love this method, but you can't control what's being said, okay? But it makes a great podcast. It's an interview style podcast, and it's NotebookLM. So you can copy your book section, paste it into NotebookLM, and it will create a 8 to 15 minute long interview style podcast. It's the quality is incredible doing that. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Okay. So once you have the audio, you've gone to Notebook, you've gone to ElevenLabs, or you've gone to AIMasher, you have an audio, you're ready to go, put it somewhere. For it to go onto Spotify or iTunes, you need to have it hosted online along with the title, description of it, even a thumbnail of the image. You can build this yourself, but I would say it's easier to use some of the tools out there, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But before you go in there, you might have seen one on Facebook where I took a question, a Q&A from a customer of ours, and I made it into a video. It was a podcast, or it's an audio that I turned it into a video. It's real. It was so easy. I couldn't. I looked at about 5 different video makers, and my search was audio to video maker, and all of them were very. It was very cumbersome. Audiogram was not. You drop the audio, choose your template, and hit and it does an incredible job. So I'm recommending this if you want to turn an audio to video. The reason is I went through these 3 and 2 others that I didn't even list, trying to go audio to video. It sounds like it should be easy, but if you want a good quality video, you're going to have to spend a little bit of time with it. However, with Audiogram, it was just a caption along with a frequency or a sound wave that went with it. Very, very easy to create. Okay. So if you're going to do a video cast, that's what you would use this for, or if you're going to put it on YouTube or you're going to put it on socials. I just read a study, and I can't remember exactly where it was, 6 months ago, and Spotify has 250,000 video cast on Spotify. And Spotify is really, they're trying to grow that part of their business. YouTube has 250,000 videos uploaded a minute, every minute. So you could see that there's a lot of videos going into YouTube. But if you want to have a competitive advantage, if you could make these video casts and put them up through Spotify, you're going to have a greater chance of being found and listened to. And the same study that I read was also that it was 75% of the people on Spotify watch the video over listening to just the audio part. So I'm giving you a competitive advantage right now. This is what I'm going to be starting to do. And you've got to host it somewhere. So you got to host the audio part, the video part. You got to have a title, a thumbnail, a description to go with it. And it's got to go all into a channel. So that's where your video hosting comes in, your podcast hosting. So there's some podcast studio and hosting options. They all run anywhere from $9 a month to, up to over $100 a month. But most of them, for what you and I would need, they're about $20 to $30 a month. And if you buy the annual, of course, you get discounts and all that. But these are the 4 that I have used in the past, and the ones, and so Podomatic was the one that I got it at a really Black Friday discount about 4 years ago. And I used it for the last, 4 years. I stopped sending a podcast over to it. And it's not because it was expensive. It just took a lot of time to do what I was doing, interview style podcast. And that takes a lot more time than what I'm going to show you today on BookMasher. Okay. But Libsyn, this is a new one out. It's like 2 years old, but it does the video cast and the podcast, and it links directly up with Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon and everything else. But it will also go into YouTube, and it makes social posts for you. So this is something to kind of think about. Is Libsyn. Podbean's pretty good too. Podbean does do video casting, but I want you to think in terms of not only are you doing an audio podcast, but I think the future with this, because it is a growing marketplace, is to do video casting, but go through a podcast server. Okay. So anyway, these are 4 good recommendations. This is a new one out, and this has a lot of social posting and video clipping with it. So check them all out there. Like I said, between $9 and $30, you can have a pretty decent monthly hosting option. Okay. Key takeaways. I know this is a short slide because we're going to be doing a lot of demo here. BookMasher is going to give you the scripts that are focused around a centralized topic. So if you're doing something about travel in Texas, you have a lot of content in a 100-page book to make a podcast series that could probably last 2 or 3 months if you're doing like one a week off the different chapters that you have. So that's why I'm kind of to take a book and chop it up into podcast sections. It makes it really easy. I mean, because the content's written, and if you want to improve it, you can toss it into chat, or you can use our AI HTML writer to even rewrite it inside AIMasher. Or you can send it off to NotebookLM and create an interview style. So very easy to do. Lane, any questions? I know I'm going kind of quickly over this. Okay, that's the end of the public version. And if you want to see the full demo that we'll be doing, you'll need to be a Mastermind Club member. So this is a great opportunity right now to join Geek Out Fridays, and you get all our past recordings, including this recording, and we go into full detail of what we'll be doing with BookMasher, converting into audio podcasts. And we're going to show you 4 different methods to create audible or podcast versions out of text scripts. So see you on another call. Thanks. Bye.